Anime Adventures is the 52nd most visited Roblox game of all time, and it's often compared to the earlier version of itself, All-Star Tower Defense, which amounted a spot as the 12th most visited game on Roblox of all time. But before the game's ban, All-Star Tower Defense was getting dominated by Anime Adventures in player count, and at the time it was around 5 times larger than All-Star Tower Defense. But since the game's deletion on the 21st of December last year, another game has risen up in its place, and it is a very similar game, and probably developed with replacing Anime Adventures in mind. And one of the Anime Adventures devs, I believe, works on this game with them, and this game is Anime Last Stand. In this video, I'll be doing a comparison of these two games, what I think they do well, what I think they do poorly, and which of these two games I overall think is the better game. Please do remember that this is my opinion, you do not need to agree, and feel free to give your thoughts in the comments. Also, if you would like to, please subscribe. I'm currently around 500 subs, which is 500 subs away from my overall goal. And I know Anime Adventures is currently off the platform, and some nerds are going to be in the comments saying, but Anime Adventures is going to lose because Anime Last Stand is the only game that's actually on the platform. But I'm purely basing the comparison on how both games perform in certain fields. And Anime Adventures will probably be back sometime soon after this video, and will be revamped a little. But without further ado, let's start the comparison. The first factor of these two games that I want to compare is the visuals. Everything from the UI to the map designs to the way characters in the lobbies of each game look. And for me, this comparison isn't really that close, even though neither game has bad visuals. First off is Anime Adventures, and Anime Adventures overtook All-Star Tower Defense extremely fast in players, even though All-Star Tower Defense was the first of its kind and had been out 2 years prior to Anime Adventures' release. And the main reason Anime Adventures was able to do this so smoothly was due to the visual advantage, in my opinion. Anime Adventures has the best lobby I think I've ever seen in a game before on Roblox, and if you showed it to someone for the first time without the Roblox avatar, they probably wouldn't even guess that it was built in Roblox. And everything from their lobby to their maps to even the UI, with the inventory icons and how the summon looks, is so well polished, which is incredibly hard to do in Roblox to the level that they've done it, which is why most Roblox games look quite rough. But Anime Adventures has really avoided one of the biggest issues Roblox games face, which is the rough look. And as far as I'm concerned, Anime Adventures in terms of visuals is pretty much perfect. Now, even though we know where this point is going based on the long Anime Adventures glazing session I just did, I still want to go over Anime Last Stand and give it its flowers. The lobby is quite impressive, and same with all of the UI in the game, and I like how the characters in the summon are animated and actually move. I do feel like the quality could have been a bit higher on the models of the characters themselves, but aside from that, the visuals are pretty good. And if this was a tier list, Anime Adventures being at an S, I would easily give Anime Last Stand an A+. Next up is a factor that affects a lot of enjoyability of the game, and that is the music. Anime Adventures has some pretty good music, including a pretty nice remix of the Bleach OST, which I'm a really big fan of. And as far as I know, most of the tracks they use are original, and overall the tracks aren't perfect, nothing that blows me away, but overall very enjoyable music to make some of the grinding a bit more enjoyable. Then moving on to Anime Last Stand. Now, I really enjoy the tracks they choose to use in this game, one of the best tracks being Delirious from Jujutsu Kaisen, but the track, like most other tracks used in this game, are copyrighted on YouTube, as none of the music is original, which not only shows less effort from Anime Last Stand, but it also means if you're recording gameplay for a YouTube video or a stream or you're a content creator, you have to play in silence or you're going to get a copyright claim. So this point can't even be given to Anime Last Stand in any capacity, so it goes to The way to get a good amount of trait rerolls in Anime Adventures without buying rerolls for an insane amount of money is by buying battle passes, which is cheaper, but you still have to pay money to access it, making it very pay to win of a system. So this point without question goes to Anime Last Stand. Next is gameplay, and this is a very hard point to give as both games excel in different ways. On one hand you have Anime Adventures, which is a much better built game with nicer maps and more to do, and on the other hand you have Anime Last Stand, which has a lot less content, but the progression through the game is faster, getting gems and everything else. It's probably a lot easier to get meta units due to the way the game's built and the way you get trait rerolls, but Anime Adventures has far more content and adds a lot more each update. But on the other hand, Anime Last Stand updates more frequent, so it's hard to give the point to one over the other, so for this reason I'm giving it a draw and giving the point to both games for gameplay. Last point is very obvious where it's going, but I just want to make sure I speak about it as it's a very, very important factor, and that is the originality of both games. This game was basically never heard of before, no upcoming game hype for the game, then Anime Adventures gets taken down and instantly this game goes up, and they pretty much copied AA with things like traits, which is, well, in a tower defense game is very original to Anime Adventures, but was taken and put straight into Anime Last Stand, and Portals has to be one of the most random things ever put in a tower defense game. It's good, don't get me wrong, but two different tower defense games coming up with the exact same system and the exact same idea for Portals, having Portals to grab the special units in a tower defense game, it's just straight up from Anime Adventures, and Anime Last Stand is basically the copy paste of Anime Adventures, and they basically profit off of Anime Adventures ideas while the game isn't on the platform, as if this game released while Anime Adventures was still up, I don't think it would be nearly as successful, but this is fine because Anime Adventures is off the platform, but it does feel a little bit wrong, and when Anime Adventures is back on the platform, it's pretty much going to be like having a clone of the game up. But yeah, the point will obviously be going to Anime Adventures, and the only thing I can think of that really Anime Last Stand has done originally is the skill tree system, which is probably what a lot of people are going to say, but realistically it has got to be one of the worst systems to put in a tower defense game, because there is no way to make it, it's not a subjective system, it's not like a PvP game. You're just going to go onto Google or go onto YouTube, find the meta skill tree for the unit you have, and then upgrade it in that exact way. There's no two ways to make a unit stronger. You'll just pick whatever the strongest route is, so you'll just Google it. So it's a pretty pointless system, and that's the only thing I can think of that's original to the entire game. And they don't beat Anime Adventures in quality, they don't beat Anime Adventures in most things. The only thing that I would say is a plus side is the free-to-play aspect, but when Anime Adventures is back on the platform and everyone has all their progress back on the game, I don't think this game's going to survive for very long, but that's just my opinion. So feel free to let me know if you disagree in the comments, but this will be 4-1 to Anime Adventures, making them the winner of this comparison. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.